What's going on, party people? I don't even know why I said that. And I don't even know where it's from. Is it a movie? Is it another YouTuber? Anyhow, welcome to Hey Fro Sells. My name is Jeff. My nickname is Fro. Jeff Fro. People say, hey Fro. So that's where that came from. And I am a full-time reseller. I've been doing this for 11 years, but I've really been reselling all my life. And you have stumbled upon a what sold video. I appreciate you watching. I've been taking some time this week to organize my inventory area, going through some things, listing some things locally. I've had some local sales this week. I'm really making a push towards listing things over £1 locally, anything that's a certain dollar figure locally, or anything that I think would sell locally. Because with the continued shipping rises, with eBay fees, with eBay being slow, there are a number of other advantages to selling locally. That's kind of where I've been spending my time for the last couple of days. I did some sourcing a few times this week. Today I bought a bunch of stuff. I'm going to do a haul video later on. So yeah, let's just get into the few things that have sold so far over yesterday and today. And I do update things that I basically have sold, but I've had to ship out on the community tab within YouTube. I take a picture and I show what sold, what it sold for, and we'll make any notations that I feel are necessary. This is going to be a really quick video because I don't necessarily think that there's a whole ton of value in terms of kind of what sold, because it's mostly comics. It's mostly media. So I'm gonna go through them real quick, and there are a few things I want to comment. Basically, this comic sold for $4. And most of the comics that I buy, I get either in a collection or, at a con, and you normally get them fairly expensive. So most comics, I would say I pay $1 or $2, or if they're in their collection, they're even cheaper. This Incredible Hulk sold for $17. It's a number one. It's a variant. You probably don't know what that means, but for certain issues, there are sometimes multiple covers, and not all variants are worth much, but some are. Some Catwoman. There were a 5-lot issue of Catwoman. I'm surprised I'm actually allowed to sell that on eBay anymore. This is actually, the reason these are significant is the person who did the covers of these, his name is Adam Hughes, and he is a phenomenal and well sought after cover artist. Just the way he draws women specifically is so beautiful. That sold for $25 for 5 books. And also the thing about comics is you have to know how to grade them. It's very difficult to just take pictures of a comic. Like, you have to list the defects, you've got to know what you're talking about, you have to know what the defects are. People who buy comics are very picky, and they're very cheap. They just are. They will lowball you to death. All right, so that's enough. That's it for the comics. I sold a magazine about comics, essentially. It's called the Comics Journal. I picked up a lot of these at a thrift store a couple weeks ago, actually. And they were $1 each. And I like selling things like this. There's a couple reasons. Like, this is from let's see here, 1994. Now, sometimes in these old comic book kind of like magazines, things can become relevant in these. And it's kind of hard to explain because it sounds ridiculous if you're not a comic person. But things that make comic books collectible are the first time something shows up in a comic book. Either it's a comic book character, or it's an artist's first work, or it's the first time this comic book character is mentioned. There's a zillion different things that can make things collectible. As you watch this channel and as I sell things, I'll be able to be like, oh, this is an example of that. I'm not thinking of anything. Nothing special about this. This is sold for $15 just because it's a cool old magazine. And I got it cheap enough there. This last one, this is actually for me, this is the coolest thing I've sold all week. And I love buying these things. So this is, and I've never heard of this magazine. It's called Kerrang! Kerrang! Exclamation, Kerrang! Now, this is a heavy metal magazine. And I believe it's from the UK. Like I said, I've never heard of it. This sold for $30. Paid a buck for it. I bought a whole bunch of them at the thrift store, I believe last month. And I grew up listening to heavy metal. Like Blackie Lawless, a Wasp. Man. Like I like looking through these magazines when I buy them and just enjoying them for a short amount of time. And then I thoroughly enjoy the process of selling them and having them go out the door to a collector. To me, that is so satisfying. And I think that's, like, if that resonates with you, then you are a true born and bred reseller. Like, nothing that I have, I mean, I shouldn't say nothing, but very few things that I have do I keep for myself. Most people will keep like a little personal collection of things. To me, everything has a price. Even the things that I like, there's a price to it that I'm willing to let it go. I might have it priced 25, 35% over what they're selling for, and that's just because that's the price that I would have to get for that item to leave my hands. But everything, to me, everything is for sale. In a perfect world, everything in my home would be listed on eBay. Because we have a tendency as humans to accumulate stuff. We buy stuff, we'll buy a piece of art, even though we have no room for it. So if everything is always for sale, if this picture that's on the wall that you can't see right now, it is for sale, because this is my studio. This is everything in this room. And I literally cleaned this room out just for the purpose of making these videos. So it's pretty empty, but I suspect a year from now it will be pretty full. When that sells, I'll be able to hang something else up there. And the piece that I have up there right now, I actually love. I love that piece. I do not want to sell it, but I will. Yeah, so anyhow, so I was thoroughly happy when this sold, especially for what it did, because I knew, like, anything heavy metal, you should always be picking up. But for me, it hits a nostalgic, like today I was driving and I saw a poster that was saying like Iron Maiden's coming, and I was just like, oh. I mean, I grew up listening to Iron Maiden, and I'm like, do I really want to go see them now? Probably not. But anything Iron Maiden that I see, I'm buying, because I know there's always going to be an Iron Maiden collector, just like I know there's always going to be a Wasp, Blackie Lawless collector out there. So other than that, I'm gonna end this video now. Why you would want to consider subscribing is you are going to see some cool things that do sell in the future, and you're going to see some cool things that I am picking up that is going to give you some really good ideas on things that you should be picking up when you're out. I mean, if you're outsourcing, you're already doing the work. You don't want to be passing up on items. And I'm continually building that Rolodex of items that I look for, and I found a really cool one today. As I said, I'm going to show you later on in the video, hopefully when I get home. Tomorrow's my birthday, and my wife told me that we're going to go out for a dinner tonight for a friend's house. So if you want to give me an early birthday present, subscribe. But if you don't find value in these videos and the things that I talk about, don't. Like, it's okay. Like, I feel like resellers should be watching a handful of people that they resonate with and they like their material, because it's good to get ideas. I'm continually getting ideas from other resellers. I continue to learn things every single day. And it's my hope to be able to pass on some of that information to you. So we will hopefully make another video later on showing you guys the things that I bought. Have a good evening.